Right now, transit riders and advocates are marching in support of the 14th Street Busway plan, the plan to restrict traffic on 14th Street while repairs continue on the L train's Canarsie Tunnel was put on hold after a court ruling. The rally is happening at 14th Street and First Avenue. Let's listen in.
A small number of wealthy homeowners, and they get their lawyers, they get their publicists, and they block it. This is also not the New York of yesteryear, where we are going to sit back and we're going to take it. We are going to fight and we're going to make sure that 14th Street works for transit riders. So, thank you for everyone here for attending. I want to introduce Councilmember Keith Powers, who has been with working New Yorkers and bus riders from the very beginning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Thank you. I want to admit, I don't want to be out here today. I want to be on the bus. My name's City Councilmember Keith Powers. I live right here. I am a bus rider. I'm an L train rider as well. I take it every day to go down to City Hall or go to my office in Midtown. And today was really a day that was going to be a special day. We talk about transportation in New York City, but we were going to take a big thoroughway, 14th Street, and say it is for buses, it is for pedestrians first, and we were going to give people this new wonderful option. And it came after years of organizing by many of the people who are standing right behind me today, who stood on corners all around my neighborhood. And as I was campaigning, they were campaigning to get a busway. And they organized and they got it. And I have to give them a lot of credit for the work they did. And yet, at the very last minute, a lawsuit comes in and it gets stopped. And today was supposed to be this day where we'd be getting on the buses and putting new enforcement to 14th Street. And it was not just about 14th Street, it was about a bigger idea about transportation in this city and throughout the world. And once again, we didn't get it. But we will get it. I really do believe we're going to get it at the end of the day. But we're out here today to say that today should be about starting the busway, not about us having to build political power again to fight against those who are trying to stop it. My call is they should drop the lawsuit and they should let the busway go forward.
Amen.
And so I look forward in a few weeks or a few months or whenever it actually happens to put this busway back, but we could get it today, as I said, if they drop the lawsuit and they let us have a big, bold vision for transportation right here on 14th Street. I just want to note, the L train is delayed today. It's not a political stunt. Nobody's that good at doing public relations around here. It's delayed. And even people on the way here got delayed on the L train. If you are going to work right now, you could walk down that station right there, see it's delayed, and you could hop on the bus. And today, you could have been hopping on a bus that would have gotten you to work a lot quicker, a lot faster, and instead, you're stuck in the same old M14 traffic that we all know is as slow as any other bus route in New York City, and it's as slow as anything else in New York City. It's not a rapid bus. We could have that. We don't have it today. So I'm saying, drop the lawsuit and let us get the busway. Thank you, everybody, for being out here today.
Drop the suit! 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 Thank you, council member. As the council member alluded to, there was and currently is, a breakdown on the L line. I mentioned this earlier, but our friends over at the Riders Alliance and Tri-State Transportation Campaign jumped on a M14 bus, how long ago at this point? 10 minutes. 10 minutes to go a handful of blocks, and they are not here yet. On the way here, I got off that L train and decided to walk because I knew that it would be faster. The entire time where I was walking from here, from Union Square, I was in front of a bus. I made a note of it, and this is the kind of service that 27,000 New Yorkers are having to deal with every single day. And they're having to deal with it despite the fact that there is a perfectly good plan, not even a good plan, an excellent plan that would speed things up dramatically. It's unacceptable. Another partner in this fight to make the M14 and 14th Street better for transit users is the League of Conservation Voters. Thrilled to have them here. Adriana Espinosa.
Hi. Good morning. My name is Adriana Espinosa. I'm the New York City Program Director for the New York League of Conservation Voters, and I'm here because transportation policy and climate policy is inextricably linked. That's because transportation Thank you. That's because transportation is the #1 source of greenhouse gas emissions in New York State. And we're here today talking about transit priority for one major corridor of one major city, but we need to be talking about transit priority for an entire state. And this lawsuit is frivolous, and I have a piece of advice for our local neighbors who filed the lawsuit and those who are worried about how slow the traffic lane is going to be or whether or not they're going to be able to find parking. Try taking the bus. It's an option, and it should be a priority right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Adriana. Throughout this entire process, that small group who has been suing and resorting to lawyers in order to block this plan has repeatedly said that the community does not support the busway. There's nothing further from the truth. Next, I want to invite Rich Mintz, who is a M14 rider, as well as a member of Community Board 6.
Hello, I'm Richard Mintz. I live in this neighborhood. I ride the bus almost every day. In fact, I came here on the M14. I'm happy that we have new select bus service launching, but it's not good enough because we're not getting the bus priority that we need, that we've been working for 3 years, and that the community supports. In Community Board 6, we have been on record as supporting bus priority on 14th Street since last September for 10 months. And we reiterated our support in February with another resolution after the original L-train plan was scuttled and the new slowdown came in place of the shutdown. There are 150,000 people in Community Board 6, and we depend on the bus. We are people from all walks of life who live on the east side, who don't have the same level of subway service that other parts of the city have. We use the M15 SBS as a major transit line. We use the M101, 102, 103, and we absolutely use crosstown bus service. We depend on it. People who don't have other options use the bus, but also people who have other options and appreciate efficient service that doesn't require them to sit in traffic love the bus. Unfortunately, until things improve on 14th Street, no matter how many buses the MTA puts on, they're still going to be sitting in traffic, like Tom said. So we need the 14th Street Peopleway now. Thank you.
Amen. All right, thank you, Rich. Next, I want to invite Ben Freed from Transit Center, and this organization is constantly on the cutting edge of advocating for the best projects and design solutions to benefit transit users. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. I'm Ben Freed with Transit Center. The M14 is one of the most intensely used bus routes in the entire United States. So I want you to think about how cynical this lawsuit is. If you read the lawsuit, it says that the idea of improving service on the M14 is just PR. But it's not just PR if you're one of the tens of thousands of people who ride the M14 every day and get stuck in traffic, moving at walking speed. It's not just PR if you are late for work or you miss a doctor's appointment because the M14 gets stuck in traffic. The people who brought this suit should feel nothing but shame that they are delaying this critical transit improvement for their own neighbors, and they need to drop the suit immediately. Thanks.
So Ben raised a really good point, and I want to quote the main lawyer who's been behind this litigation, Arthur Schwartz. He said, "Who rides the bus anyway? Who rides the bus?
We ride the bus!
We ride the bus! We ride the bus! We ride the bus! We ride the bus! We ride the bus!" So we and 27,000 other New Yorkers ride this bus on a daily basis. That is the answer to that question. Next, I want to bring up Mary Garvey, who rides this bus. She rides the bus.
My name is Mary Garvey. I live right here in Stuyvesant Town, and I do ride the bus sometimes, but I try to avoid the bus most of the time because it's so slow. I am one of the fortunate people because I live right here. I can take the L train when it's running. When it's not running, I can walk because I'm able-bodied over to Union Square. That's great for me. I ride the bicycles, so I'm using those 12th and 13th Street bus paths that were blocked by the same people initially. So I have been going to rallies and meetings for over a year to support these changes that are good for all New Yorkers, not just a select few in the West Village. I want to point out that here we are at the L train. We are the furthest east here for mass transit, that is the trains. All the people who live beyond, that's who I'm standing here for. All the people who live in the projects on Avenue D and Avenue C have to take these 14th Street buses. That means you get on a bus, the 14A bus begins on Houston by the FDR. Those people who live there travel sometimes 2 hours by bus to go someplace in Manhattan. So I am here to support all those people who rely on this bus just to get to other forms of transit. I want to remind you that those people in the West Village who are defending their cars and their parking spaces live in a community that has the 1, 2, 3, A, C, E, B, M, D, F trains. They have all the transit that they want to use available to them, and still they are defending their cars and their parking spaces because they live in a private little community there in their own minds. Those streets do not belong to them. They may live there, but the streets and the transits of the city belong to all of us. I'm wearing a t-shirt. It says, "Eat the rich." This is a quote. I want to point out, this is a quote from the French Revolution by Rousseau. And what he said was, when the poor have nothing to eat, then they will have to eat the rich. I do not want a revolution in the streets, but I want a revolution, a political revolution that changes the dialogue in this country and this city and reflects all the people, not just the people who are lawyers or rich enough to hire lawyers, but all those people who are spending 2 hours to travel to their jobs, to school. Imagine kids who are going to City College who live in Baruch houses. They're traveling over 2 hours every day to get to their classes. That's an outrage for people in the West Village who have all the advantages they can imagine having, may even call themselves progressives, until something happens that impacts their neighborhood and they decide they are NIMBYs. That's a NIMBYism that we have to fight here in New York and remind ourselves what this city is, what we want this city to be, a city for everyone.
All right. All right, Mary, thank you so much. Can I get a time check for the bus riders who are coming over? It's been 20 minutes. Is this acceptable?
No!
Do we have to accept it?
No!
And we are not going to accept it. We are going to continue to fight. I want to bring Phil Leff, who is a North Brooklynite, who also has something to say.
Good morning. My name is Philip Leff. I'm the chair of the North Brooklyn Transportation Alternatives Committee. Our community is a community that relies on the L train. During the shutdown, the 14th Street busway would have been the key to how we get around the city. And during the slowdown, it's still key. More people using more reliable 14th Street buses will reduce crowding and increase reliability all across the L line from Chelsea to Canarsie. The fact that a few wealthy, entitled residents who have confused the streets of Greenwich Village with a gated community of Greenwich, Connecticut, get to decide the lives and how 30,000 people will spend their time. It is a sad sign. It is truly a tale of two cities. And for those who say they are progressives and take transit away from working people, to those who say they are environmentalists and want to run more polluting cars through Manhattan, my question to these few dozen elite entitled people, whose side are you really on? Drop the suit, drop it now.
All right, Phil, thank you so much. And long overdue. This has been quite a journey this morning. Danny Pearlstein from Riders Alliance, who can tell you all about it, I'm sure.
Thank you, Tom. Good morning. My name is Danny Pearlstein. I'm here from the Riders Alliance. We are New York's grassroots organization of subway and bus riders. This morning, I rode the bus for 25 minutes all the way from 8th Avenue, about a mile away. So running at less than 3 miles an hour. That's what we would call in Greenwich Village and Chelsea good service. What we've heard from the plaintiffs in this lawsuit is that people are perfectly happy with a slow bus. No improvements needed, it's fine in their area. Well, you know, I missed the beginning, as you saw, but what I'm sure people have talked about a lot today is the transit and environmental crisis we face. But really what matters here is the equity crisis and who's on the bus. I don't look like the average bus rider, I'll say that, I'll admit that, right? Bus riders, 75% are people of color. Bus riders on average earn less than $30,000 a year. Bus riders, 2 million New York daily bus riders today, though, are up against multi-million-dollar homes in Chelsea and Greenwich Village, and they're millionaire owners. It's a crisis of equity, and there's a false equivalency here that bears particular examination. Because when we hear that it's fine for us to have slow buses, or we hear that, well, this way my kids won't have to walk out the door and see many cars on the street, or what I think is the most tone deaf, I guess my lungs matter too. What we're hearing is people who are completely ignorant of the issues of racial and economic justice as it pertains to transit in New York City. Because the question is what people need. It's what people deserve, and there's a false equivalency being made between 2 million daily bus riders and the elite of Greenwich Village and Chelsea. Because what people need and what people deserve are not the same thing across New York City, across the highly unequal spaces that we live in here today. What bus riders need and deserve is a faster bus trip. 25 minutes to go a little over a mile is completely unacceptable. The fact that 14th Street is still choked with cars is entirely the responsibility of, as Philip so well said, a handful of people living in Greenwich Village and Chelsea. It's time for that to change. It's time for them to drop the suit. If you look in the suit, as I have, what you'll see is a litany of concerns, 95, maybe 950, maybe 950,000 theses of what people would like to see from the DOT. We all have a long list of concerns from the DOT, but it's completely unacceptable, as these people have, to hold up faster bus service until the DOT meets your every whim and whimsy, your every minor demand, your tweaking of the stop sign here, your tweaking of the crosswalk there for miles around. No, hundreds of little details cannot wait until there's a busway on 14th Street, right? That's what they're telling you. But the fact is, entitled people, spoiled people, will make these requests. What we're looking at today is better bus service, starting here, starting with the bus and truckway on 14th Street, but expanding all over the city in faster trips, in more reliable bus service for 2 million daily bus riders. That's the bottom line. That's what we need to see here. That's what we need progressive New Yorkers to rally around. So thank you very much.
All right, Danny, thank you so much. Next, I want to invite Liam Blank from Tri-State Transportation Campaign.
Good morning. My name is Liam Blank. I'm the Advocacy and Policy Manager for Tri-State Transportation Campaign, which is a nonprofit that's fighting for sustainable mobility in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Thousands of New Yorkers desperately need reliable transit service on 14th Street, especially as the L train construction continues. Though we aren't dealing with a complete shutdown, the current plan still requires the city and MTA to ensure there are sufficient transit alternatives. A big part of that is converting 14th Street into a busway so that buses can run frequently and reliably without being stuck in traffic congestion. Targeted interventions like this are crucial to maintaining a seamless commute for transit riders and keeping thousands of cars off the road. After all, this is a tried and true lesson. When we prioritize better bus service, commuters prioritize the bus. That being said, it's absolutely unacceptable that the interests of a small group of wealthy New Yorkers is standing in the way of progress and the basic needs of the city. Transit riders will not put up with this small-minded and self-serving mentality anymore. We have been dealing with subpar transit service for far too long, and right now is our opportunity to turn this bus around. Open up the 14th Street busway. Let's not lose focus on what's for the greater good of our city. Thank you.
All right. Liam, thanks so much. With that said, maybe we should end with a chant. Who rides the bus?
We ride the bus.
Who rides the bus?
We ride the bus.
Who rides the bus?
We ride the bus.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. We're available for questions if anybody has any.
I ask Ben Freed a question?
Of course. Ben? Ben's here. Does somebody? Ben is over there. So, yeah. All right. Anything else?
We've been watching a rally in support of the 14th Street Busway plan. The Transportation Department wanted to restrict traffic on 14th Street, only allowing buses while repairs continue on the L Train's Canarsie Tunnel. That move is now on hold after a court ruling temporarily halted the plan. Transit riders and advocates are defending the plan, saying that the transit program is needed and would help what they are calling a transit crisis. The ruling against the plan doesn't affect the MTA's M14 Select bus service that has begun as planned. Right now, we are taking a quick break. We'll be right back here on CBSN New York.